President Joe Biden halted work on the Keystone XL pipeline on his first day in office. But the project is back in the news today as the U.S. looks to replace the oil it imports from Russia to put pressure on Russian President Vladimir Putin. Keystone's fans are wondering what might have been. Would the U.S. be less reliant on Russian oil if Biden had allowed Keystone to move forward? The answer is not really. It's time for the Truth-O-Meter Minute. Hi, I'm Katie with PolitiFact. We're a nonpartisan fact-checking newsroom that breaks down the facts when all you're seeing is spin. In the context of Russian fuel exports, Keystone XL is more of a symbol than a solution. Take this ad from the political advocacy group started by former Vice President Mike Pence.
Joe Biden caved to the radical environmentalist and stopped America's Keystone pipeline and dramatically increased Americans' dependence on Russian oil, endangering America's security and helping Russia fund their invasion.
But the Keystone XL project wasn't purely an American pipeline. TC Energy, which was formerly TransCanada, proposed the project to send oil from Canada to Steel City, Nebraska. From there, the oil would be transported to an existing pipeline, which would send it to Gulf Coast refineries. The pipeline would have taken years of construction. It wouldn't have been ready until 2023 at the earliest. But let's look at Pence's argument. Keystone XL would have been able to transport a maximum of 830,000 barrels of oil per day, and that's more than the U.S. brought in from Russia. Russian oil imports had been trending down in the U.S. to about 400,000 barrels per day, but it would not have been a simple switch. That's because Canadian oil producers would not have been necessarily obligated to sell that entire amount back to American companies. It also doesn't address why the U.S. turned to Russian oil in the first place. Biden canceled the Keystone XL project in 2021, and by that point, the U.S. had already begun increasing its Russian oil imports. The U.S. turned toward Russian oil in 2019 after it imposed sanctions on Venezuela. But it's important to remember, Russia is still a relatively small source of oil for the U.S. In 2021, Russian oil products made up about 3 to 4% of total U.S. oil consumption. Time for the rating. The claim that Biden's cancellation of the Keystone XL pipeline led to a dramatically increased dependence on Russian oil is false. Thanks for watching. For more video fact checks like this, subscribe to the channel and go to PolitiFact.com for the latest.